Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Kissinger at the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York. And this is 5th grade math, Module 3 review, lesson 7. Today we're going to learn how to subtract fractions from mixed numbers. So first we're going to review subtracting a fraction from a whole number. And what I'm going to do is I'll take my 3. We have 3 minus 2/3. And I'm going to break my 3 up into 2 and 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. I have 3 and 3/3 because 1 is really 3/3. Oh, excuse me, I have 2 and 3/3. 2 and 3/3. 1 is 3/3, and my 2 goes right here. And now I can subtract 2/3. 2/3 minus, or 3/3 minus 2/3 is 1/3. Leave our whole number alone. We end up with 2 and 1/3. And again, I could turn that 3 into an improper fraction if I wanted to, but then I have to turn it back into a mixed number afterward. This allows me to just subtract my fractions. So we'll continue to do that as we subtract fractions from mixed numbers as well. So let's look at our steps for subtracting mixed numbers. Our first one is we're going to still need to find the lowest common denominator. Next, we need to rename the fractions. Then we subtract the numerators. We leave the denominator. And then we simplify. Or reduce. All right, so let's try it out. We have 2 1/4 minus 3 1/4. Well, I don't need to find the lowest common denominator because both fractions have the same denominator. So I have 2 1/4 minus 3/4. I can't subtract 3/4 from 1/4, so I'll need to borrow from my whole number. So I'm going to turn 2 1/4 into 1 and 4/4. Plus 1/4. So, because 1 and 4/4 will make 2 plus another fourth. So I have 1 and 4/4 plus 1/4 will give me 5/4 altogether. So I have 1 5/4 minus 3/4. 5/4 minus 3/4 will give me 2/4. So I have 1 and 2/4. And I can reduce 2/4 to 1/2. So I have 1 and 1/2. My answer here is 1 and 1/2. All right, number 2. This time I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to turn my mixed number into an improper fraction. Again, remember you can do it either way you want. I have the same denominator again, so I don't need to find a common denominator. 3 is 3 wholes is 18 sixths. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Also, 6 times 3 is 18. I can add that to my 1/6. So 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 more is 19 sixths. Minus, I have 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. 11 sixths. Because 1 is 6 sixths, plus another 5 sixths, and that'll give me 11 sixths. 19 minus 11 is 8. Excuse me, 8 sixths. Which equals 6 sixths plus 2 sixths. Of course, 6 sixths is 1. So that gives me 1 and 2 sixths. And that will reduce to 1/3. So it gives me 1 and 1/3. Number 3, I have 4 and 3/5 minus 1 and 7/10. So first on this one, I'm going to have to find a common denominator. I can count by 5s, 5, 10. Oh, there's my other denominator. So I need to multiply 5 times 2 and 3 times 2, because 5 times 2 will give me 10. And 3 times 2 will give me 6. So I really have 4 and 6/10 minus 1 and 7/10. Well, I can't subtract 7/10 from 6/10. So I'll need to turn one of these ones into 10/10 so that I have enough tenths to subtract. So my 4 and 6/10 will become 3 and 16/10. I'm adding 10/10 to my fraction, 6/10, and I'm taking 1 away from my whole number. I'm subtracting 1 here, and I'm adding 1 to my fraction. So I'm keeping the value of that the same. And then I'm subtracting 1 and 7/10. I can subtract my whole numbers. 3 minus 1 is 2. Then I'm going to subtract my fractions. 16 minus 7 is 9/10. So I'll get 2 and 9/10. I'll write that right over here. So that one we had to find a common denominator on. All right, next one here, looks like we have 2 and 1/4 minus 1 and 3/4. We have the same denominator. 2 and 1/4. Well, we can't subtract 3/4 from 1/4, so we'll have to turn 2 and 1/4 into 1, and 4/4 plus 1/4, which would be 5/4. 2 and 1/4 is the same as 1 and 5/4. That's the trickiest part about this whole thing, is we're turning one of our whole numbers into a fraction. So we have 1 and 5/4 minus 1 and 3/4. Well, our 1s are going to cancel out. 1 minus 1 is 1, or 1 minus 1 is 0. And then our fractions, we have 5/4 minus 3/4. That's going to give us 2/4. 2/4 equals 1/2. This will just be 1/2. Next, we have 5 5/6 minus 2 3/4. We have to find a common denominator between 6 and 4. It's going to be 12 because we have 12 in our factory of 6's. And then we have 4, 8, 12 in our factory of 4's. 12 is our lowest common denominator. And then we need to make both these 12's. 6 is going to be 6 times 2. So we have to do our numerator times 2. And then 4 is going to be times 3 to get to 12. We'll have to do our numerator times 3. So we will end up with 5 10/12 minus 2 9/12. And we'll end up with, we don't have to borrow from our whole number at all because we have a large enough fraction to subtract from. 5 minus 2 is 3. We subtract 9/12 or 10/12 minus 9/12. We have 1/12 left over. Our answer will be 3 1/12. All right, so we're going to stop right there for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time.